Good morning students. Hope all of you are fine. Beta, in this lecture also we will continue with chapter 4 of Civics, and name of this chapter is Working of Institution. In previous lecture we discussed about the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. In Council of Ministers there are three types of ministers, like cabinet ministers. Second one is Minister of State with independent charge, and the third one is the Minister of State. With that, we also discussed about the powers of the Prime Minister, like whether it is not mentioned in our constitution, but the Prime Minister has wide ranging powers, like to chair the cabinet meetings and coordinate the work of different departments, and even his decisions are full and final. And in case of any disagreement between any department, the decision of Prime Minister is final, and even the Prime Minister distribute and redistributes the work. So all these are the powers of Prime Minister, and today's topic is the President. While the Prime Minister is the head of the government, the President is the head of the state. In our political system, the head of the state exercises only nominal powers. The President of India is like the Queen of Britain, whose functions are to a large extent ceremonial. Means they are just the ceremonial, just for the showing. Otherwise, the actual power exists with the Prime Minister in the parliamentary democracies. The President supervises the overall functioning of all the political institutions in the country so that they operate in harmony to achieve the objectives of the state. So the President work is to supervise the overall functioning of all the political institutions. The President is not elected directly by the people. The elected members, अब क्वेश्चन आता है यहाँ पर that how the president elected, how is president elected. So the procedure is the elected members of parliament and the elected members of the legislative assemblies elect her. A candidate standing for president post has to get a majority of votes to win the election. Means the MLAs and MPs, they elect the president. This ensures that the president can be seen to represent the entire nation. At the same time, the president can never claim the kind of direct popular mandate that the prime minister can. This ensures that she remains only a nominal executive. Nominal means just for the name, right? And the same is the true of the powers of the president also, because if we see, so president is very powerful. He is the head of the country and he has a wide ranging powers, like he is the head of the all the three type of defense forces. And if we casually read the constitution, we will think that there is nothing that the president cannot do. Means everything is under the control of president. Like all governmental activities take place in the name of the president. This sentence is very important. In the name of the president, not by the president. All laws and major policy decisions of the government are issued in her name. Means every work is done with the name of the president. All major appointments are made in the name of the president. These include the appointment of the Chief Justice of India, the judges of the Supreme Court and the High Courts of the states, the governor of the states, the election commissioners, ambassador to other countries. So all these are appointed by the President of India. All international treaties and agreements are made in the name of the President. The President is the supreme commander of defense forces of India. So as we have read all these points, so we can come to a conclusion that president is very powerful, right? But we should remember that the president exercises all these powers only on the advice of council of ministers. The president can ask the council of ministers to reconsider its advice. But if the same advice is given again, she is bound to act according to it. Means president cannot take his own decisions. Similarly, a bill passed by the parliament becomes a law only after the president gives assent to it. As I have told you earlier also, if the bill is voted by the majority in both the houses, afterward also it must be signed by the president. If the president wants, she can delay this for some time and send the bill back to the parliament for reconsideration. But if the parliament passes the bill again, she has to sign it. It means president cannot reject the bill, right? So you may wonder, what does the president really do? Can she do anything on her own at all? जैसे अभी तक हमने whatever we have seen that everything is in the hand of the council of minister. So there is one very important thing she should do on her own. Appoint the prime minister. When a party or coalition of parties secures a clear majority in the election, the president has to appoint the leader of the majority party or the coalition that enjoys majority support in the Lok Sabha. The same thing I discussed in the previous lecture also, that the leader of the majority party or the coalition parties, these leaders are invited by the president to form the government. And when no party or coalition gets a majority in the Lok Sabha, the president exercises her discretion. The president appoints a leader who in her opinion can muster majority support in the Lok Sabha. कि if the president think कि that particular party will be able to prove the majority within the specified time, so the president appoints that leader. In such a case, the president can ask the newly appointed prime minister to prove majority support in the Lok Sabha within a specified time. तो जो इस तरह से बेटा जो whatever leader is appointed as a prime minister, so that prime minister has to prove the majority within the specified time. And there are so many examples that like Atal Bihari Vajpayee, first time when he became the prime minister just for 13 days. So you can just find out so many examples like that, like this. Now the further topic that is mentioned अभी तक हमने जो किया है, that is the prime ministerial form of government, right? Now the presidential system. Like if we talk about India, president is the nominal head. But president all over the world are not always the nominal executive like the president of India. In many countries of the world, the president is both the head of the state as well as the head of the government. And the example we can take of USA, Donald Trump. So, the President of the United States of America is the most well-known example of this kind of president, and the US President is directly elected by the people. The lawmaking is still done by the legislature. So this is about the presidential system, right? So hope all of you have understood this topic. Thank you and have a nice day.